So it's 2015, and it's actually the 1-year anniversary as of 2 months ago, or 3 months ago. January is when this device originally was announced and released for $299, and well, that was a phenomenal price. There's no getting around it. It packs a 6.1-inch display. The resolution comes in at 240 pixels per inch, 720 by 1280. Sounds bad and sounds dated, but this is actually a stunning device. The display is really, really sharp, and you know, the specs in here are not the highest specs at all, but coming in with a Snapdragon 400 clocked at 1.6 gigahertz. It's a quad core. You would think that would be pretty mediocre and wouldn't be able to push this device along, but to my surprise, this device, the Huawei Ascend 2 4G, has held up really well, and it's just an all-around good device. It's packing some really killer specs for today's market. It's kind of a mixed bag. So people want a big display on a phone, right? 6.1, so they're giving you your display. People say they want an SD card. You can put a 64 gig in here. I've got one in here. People say that they want at least 2 gigs of RAM. Sometimes people say 3, but this has 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs on-built storage. But the great thing about the storage capacity on this device is you can actually switch it to the SD card. So if you got a 64 gig card in there, you have a 64 gig phone. It'll store all of your applications and stuff on the SD card, whichever you want. Some people say they want a nice camera. This has a 13 megapixel camera on the back and a 5 on the front. And it's a wide angle camera, so you can get a ton of people in the picture with the front camera. And it's not a shabby camera either. It actually shoots in 720p on the front, I believe. I believe it's 720p. I don't do videos on the front, but this front camera, the point I'm making is, it's really, really nice. This has dual band Wi-Fi, which means that I have the 5 gigahertz band connected, which gives me the fastest speeds I can get at home on Wi-Fi. Some of these things are important, but one of the most important things where a lot of phones fail, and Huawei in its own has been able to master this task, is good battery life. This phone has a 3900 milliamp battery, or 4050 depending on the region where you're at. And then my X1, my MediaPad X1 by Huawei has a 5000 milliamp battery. So battery life, and they're squeezing it in this nice thin design. I mean, this isn't the world's slimmest phone, but at the same time, it's not as bulky as one would think. It does come in at 202 grams, but you know what? After using this for such a long time, it doesn't feel like it's like they've got it balanced just right. When I hold the iPhone, my iPhone 6 Plus, it just feels super weighty, and it only weighs 171 grams. Go figure. So, how do you think if you don't have a Huawei Ascend 2, it's actually a really nice phone. So you're not missing out. It's just that you might have plans for something else, so you might don't want a big device. But if you're into big screen devices, this is definitely one that I think you'd enjoy. 6.1-inch display, no hardware buttons. They're on screen. I've got them down at the bottom hidden. That's a good thing about it. You can hide and get all your display. But this device is unlocked from the factory, and it only costs $299. Now, this is why Huawei sold so many of these. It has Dolby sound on it, which means it has great sound. It can actually charge other devices. And, some of these things were just unheard of on a mobile device at one point. But you got to give credit where credit is due, and Huawei has definitely hit the nail on the head, so to speak, with this device. It is a great device. You would never think that this was just a Snapdragon 400 in here. There are other Snapdragon 400 devices, and they do not run anywhere as smooth as this. It's one of those things where And this is Nova, obviously, but it's one of those things where you kind of wish other people would take on what Huawei is doing here, and really, 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 let me switch this. Trying to switch this to the regular. Really take notes from some companies. They may not be the, you know, the most well known, and their time in the U.S. they definitely have not done the best with the one phone they have that's making their mark in the U.S., which is this phone. Because they bailed on everybody pretty much and told us we weren't getting the next operating system upgrade. And we're kind of wondering, like, why would you do that? This software, I mean, this hardware can handle it. But then they came back, they recanted on that and came back and said, no, we're going to give you Android L. We're going to give it to you. But it's going to be 9 months away. So nonetheless, they do plan on upgrading this to 5.0. They're saying Android L 5.0. You know, they're planning on giving it to you, but I wouldn't expect anything else after that. To me, if I were them, I'd bring a version of the Mate 7 to the U.S. and sell it at $399 or $499 or so, and it will sell. It just has to be compatible like this one with LTE on everything. See, there's LTE immediately. It needs to be LTE in the U.S. Which is why I've kind of strayed away from, like, I want to review the Synergy, the Energy or whatever, Studio Energy by Blue, but there's no LTE, and you know I'm tired of buying devices that don't have LTE if I can get them right here in the U.S. Now, if I'm importing a phone, yeah, okay, I know it's not going to have LTE, but at the same time, it's feature rich, and there's something about it that's worth staying on Wi-Fi while I'm at home, and on my way I'll be on 3G, and I'm fine with that. But if you can get it here in the U.S., there's just no reason why a company should not be releasing phones with LTE. And that's kind of a disappointment. But nonetheless, Huawei bringing this device out, if they play it smart, you'll see a revisited video in 2016. There are just way too many things about this device that are nice. The cameras, the screen, the size of it, it's just really nice. The speaker quality, the battery, having an SD card in here, it is just really nice and well worth the $299 that some of us paid. And I actually had issues with my first one, so I got a consumer cellular version, which is this version, and I just paid $2 to unlock it, and you know, T-Mobile LTE. You can walk in any Sears and get it for $224 right now, or you can get it online if you want to for the same price at $224. You can buy it directly from consumer cellular for $250. I would obviously go to Sears, you know, and just buy it and pay a couple bucks to get it unlocked. But nonetheless, this device is has done very well. I've been really happy with it, not disappointed at all. I'm super excited that Apple, oh Lord, I'm working on an Apple video, but that Huawei has decided to, you know, wise up and bring the U.S. something. But I think they're going to probably need to do a little bit better than this if they plan on bringing something else to the market. I think people are, you know, people were a little mad at them for bailing on the updates, but hopefully they wise up and they actually update this phone. If this is going to be their only release, keep it up to date. Offer us a stock version install, you know, just keep us interested in this device, because the fact of the matter is there's plenty of other devices that are in this price range. They can do just about the same. They may not have as great a battery, because I can push 10 hours of screen on time easily with this device. Right now I'm at 50%, and let's go to the battery and let me show you what the screen on time is. So it's 50%, and I'm at 5 hours and 30 minutes. Now, what are the chances of that? I had no idea. I just went to it, but like I said, I can easily get 10 hours of screen on time out of this device with no problems. And that is where a lot of OEMs fail when it comes to optimization and battery. Now, Android, as we know, I've always spoke of it as, you know, it's not optimized right. You know, I'm tired of having poor battery. This device has killed that, you know, so what do? Is someone going to knock Huawei off this battery hump or what? Someone's going to say, well, I get, you know, this much more on my whatever. But I'm going to say Huawei in the US has made a mark, and you know, I think they've done well with this device. I had issues with the first one. Like I said, I decided to get another one because I really enjoyed it. What do you think of the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G? If you have it, have you rooted it? Have you customized it in any kind of way? I haven't done any rooting or anything like that. I've kind of got away from that. I'm patient enough to wait. As long as there's a Nova launcher, I'm perfectly fine with it. So let's revisit it for the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G. I thought about getting the Mate 7, but nah, I don't think it's, I don't want to have to order it on Amazon and then, you know, have issues with it. You know, there's not much, it's not supported, it's not officially supported in the US or by Huawei USA. So I don't want to deal with it. So do you have one? Are you going to get one still at this point? It's 1 year old. It's over. It's a year and 3 months, a year and 2 months old. To me, it's still worth it because now you can actually get them for a lower price. Some people want to buy directly from Huawei, and that's great. GetHuawei.com. You can get this device for $299. I think they're even giving away like a speaker or something. Giving away a free speaker or something, or they're giving away a free month of service or something like that. Do what suits you best. All I'm saying is, in 2015, over a year later, this device is still rocking. It's great. The camera's great. The battery life obviously is superb. Definitely beats out nearly 95% of other Android devices or even phones on the market. So let's get into it. Let's. What do you think about the Huawei Ascend Mate 2 4G LTE? I gave you a remix. Hit the link in the description, guys. There's a poll going on that I have on Google Plus, and it asks, how big is your smartphone screen? So obviously, to my surprise, hit the link in the description and you'll see what I'm surprised about. So you can go over there and vote as well and let me know how big your smartphone screen is. And I will see you guys in the next video. Remember to rate and subscribe if you're not a member of this channel. You're just coming on. Go back and look at some previous videos, and I have at least 7 videos on the Mate 2 here. So if you're looking and considering it, even at this point in the game, don't judge it by this video. Go back and look at the previous videos on here, because anything you could probably possibly think of about knowing on this device, I've done a video on it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Remember to rate, share the video. If you want to see more videos on revisited devices, let me know. I try to get those done as much as I can. But I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.